Hey everybody, I'm Dominic from askmediy.com. Shop here is cold and this heater, it just doesn't work. I hit the reset button a couple times, the red button on here. Watch it go on, it goes off, goes on, doesn't sound right. Now it won't go on at all. I figured, you know what? This would be a great time to make a video so we can go through this whole thing together real fast. So there's going to be three things we're going to be doing. We're going to be changing the filter, and a lot of people don't know, but most of the time, this area right here where your fuel line would go into, from the filter of course, is the pump. Now the pump usually has a screen on it. Almost looks like a cup with a screen on it. Somehow I feel that this thing hasn't been, look how dirty it is. This hasn't been serviced in, I don't know, since the day it was put in. So what we're going to be doing, we're doing the filter, we're going to be taking this pump apart, the screen, and then we're going to be actually pulling out the electrodes and the nozzle and examining that. So the first thing I want to do, not only do I want to take this canister out for the fuel filter, but since it's all hard plumbed right into the pump, I actually want to disconnect the fuel line right here on this other side, so it's a little bit easier for me to maneuver. So let me start taking this apart. See you in a second. Good. Okay. All right. Took the filter out, the canister. I'm gonna just, the fuel looks pretty clean. That's in there. Not bad, right? But here's something, and I'm sure I'm gonna pull our wool filter out. Now look in there. Poof. Oh yeah, look at that nasty stuff. Now, let me show you something here. This will gross you out. Here's the filter. Now it's made out of wool. Look at that. I mean, this is supposed to work? I don't think so. Okay. All right, I went and took all these little bolts that go around. There's only 4 of them that are holding this on. I'm gonna pull it out gently because there is a seal in there, which obviously is no good. Just broke that. And I'm gonna have to take more of this apart, but I do have that screen in here. I can't get out just yet, so I'm gonna have to dismantle the rest of this. So let me go ahead and do that. Yep. All right. Well, I went and got this apart. This is the cover for that screen for the pump. And you can see this, there's a good amount of dirt in there, right? But this is where your filter goes. This is where the nice clean fuel is supposed to go. But look at that. I mean, this thing is hideous. And getting here, you can see the screen. I'm going to take that off the pump, and wow, look at that. I don't even know how this thing ever worked. And it did work just until a few hours ago. Look at that. Wow, that's really bad. Wow. All right, so I guess we're gonna either clean this up real good or see if we can get a new one. How much could one cost, huh? Okay. Yeah. All right, now we went and took all that apart. Now what we want to do, especially after what I seen of all that dirt and gunk into the filters, we're going to do transformer, okay? There's some clips in the front that, I mean, honestly, even the camera can't get in there. So I undid that. We get the transformer and flip it back. Now here are your electrodes. And if you look here, you can see the pump with your smaller line going to it. And what we want to do is disconnect that line, just like that. Okay, just move it out of the way gently. You don't want to bend it around too much. Then you usually have a little thumb screw, nut on here. It's not very tight at all. All right, and that's for your adjustment. Just undo that real fast, just like that. And now we should be able to get this and move it out of the little pocket that sits in. Should be able to, like that. There we go. And gently pull that out. And here, look at that, huh? Okay, a little fuel coming out. Okay, you got your electrodes. They don't look that bad, but geez, take a look at that, huh? Look at all that around there. Can only imagine what the inside of the boiler looks like. Okay, wow. All right, so I'm not even going to try to clean that nozzle up. They don't cost enough. What we're going to do, though, we are going to clean it up, and we're going to get a number on it. And that number is really important. That number is going to tell us how much fuel that this nozzle is going to use. And of course, it's all going to be depending on your heater that you have. Okay, and we have a 0.85. All right, so let me go over to the bench. We're going to take this nozzle out, and we're going to run to the store and go get another one. All right, we went to the plumbing supply, because, you know, a store like Home Depot or Lowe's, they're just not going to have these parts, okay? So what we did, we got a brand new nozzle, nice and clean and shiny. Okay, but very important, look on yours, you're going to find a series of numbers. For instance, on this one here, it's 0.85 and 80 degrees. And B, very important that you match up the nozzle that you're replacing. But then again, even more importantly, which I tell you is a great thing to do, is get the model number and all that over your either furnace or boiler and bring it into the guys. They have a chart and they can look up and see exactly what nozzle belongs in that. Just because you know, you have whatever you're taking out of doesn't mean that was the right one that was installed in there, okay? But in this case, we did all that, and ours was probably original, and that thing's probably older than me. Okay, so we're gonna go and just screw our nozzle right in there, then we're gonna tighten it all up nice. And we have our electrodes, and they look good just by looking at the settings on it. That also looks good. If you wanna know more how to adjust these electrodes, on my website, you'll see a whole article that I wrote with really pretty good instructions how to do it. We also got the screen. Remember the screen for the pump? I mean, that thing is bad. Got a brand new one. I had to buy a whole box of 3. Like I need 3, but got 3. We got 3 new gaskets, so we're gonna go and replace the gasket here and the screen. Now, I paid for this box of 3 pump screens, and the nozzle was like $11 and change. I mean, so how do you beat that, right? I mean, so let me go put this together and we'll see what we got. All right, I cleaned the gasket off the pump really good with the razor blade, and I got the new gasket here. And you can see there's a bunch of different holes on it, okay? In this particular one, the ones with most holes are gonna go on the bottom. Just double check yours, make sure that, in fact, that you are putting it on right. And let's just slip it on. And like that, and get our new screen, which goes right over that. And it's really hard for me to see the way this is on an angle here. All right, so it looks good. So now we're going to go ahead and put our pump cover back on over this. And again, in our case, we have a really tight spot here to work in. Geez, all right, turn it off. All right, I went ahead and put the pump cover on, but I'm still tightening these 4 little bolts. One thing you want to do is definitely just don't go and tighten one really tight. You want to go around, make them snug, and then keep going around, go like crisscross, okay? You just don't want to make them too tight because you will have a problem. You can break them. The gasket may not seat right, okay? Very little, see, little wrench, little finger, and that's all we're going to use. We're not going to get really down crazy tight with them. Good. All right, well, now we're getting to our canister for our filter. This gasket, the seal here, well, there's a reason why they give you one when you buy it. But you just throw that out. Now, I mean, look at all the stuff we're taking out of here. And, boy, that was pretty hard. Ooh, God, that's nasty as can be, huh? Okay, what we want to do, though, is clean this up really good. You don't want to, worry about eating your breakfast in here, but you want to clean it up really good. You don't want none of that slimy stuff. So some nice rags there, we'll clean it up. Now you got the gasket on the bottom here. We're going to be removing this plug and putting a new gasket in. When you buy the filters, they come with all these gaskets, and for good reason, because you should be replacing them. Okay. All right, our canister is nice and clean. Now we got our new wool filter, put it in there, and our new seal. Okay, we're going to lay that on here. One thing you want to do is just make sure that your old one didn't stay behind on here. Now we have our bolt, which is holding this canister in, and we have our new gasket on there. And then simply, and you'll see that there's like pressure on it. Well, that's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be, okay? Put your bolt down, line it up, and then tighten this up nice and snug. All right, nothing crazy, okay? Good. All right, before we do anything more, one thing I did forget, and I do apologize. The main power going to our burner unit here. In this case, it's a switch on the wall there. We'll turn that off because we don't want anything turning on because you do damage, okay? So once that power is off, we have our reset button, which I'm sure you guys know all about, okay? Now that's reset back down. Now on the pump here, we have a bleeder valve, okay? Well, I'm gonna open that up because now we have all this air. All right, one thing I forgot to tell you is make sure you turn the power off to your burner unit. Usually you have a switch on the wall, a little red cover on it, you know, on, off. Just make sure that's off, you have no power anywhere. Okay, we went and we changed our nozzle, we changed our pump screen, we changed our filter, everything's all nice and clean, but everything's got air in it, okay? So we need to pull that air out. So what we're gonna do, if you look on your pump, and you will have one of these bleeder screws, okay? Just get a wrench on it, like usually a 3/8 wrench, and you're gonna open it up a little bit, okay? If it's really dirty, look in there, see if you see anything. If it is, just unscrew it and clean it all out, right? Now what I like to do is put a little hose on it, and I'm gonna put this hose in our case, in our little cup right here. Make sure your reset button is indeed back to the on position, all right? In this case, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the boiler on. It's gonna get a little loud, and we're gonna be removing all the air. We're gonna start seeing some oil, then some air, and then some oil, until it's a pretty good solid stream of just solid oil. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead, while it's still connected, because otherwise I'll spray oil all over me, I'm gonna close it. Once I close this, we should hear this burner start to fire up, okay? So let's see what we got. Now you see it's on, but nothing's coming out yet. And still nothing. And since we have a tank that's in the ground, that's not really all that filled up, could take a while. Could actually have to do this a couple times until we start seeing some fluid. One thing you do want to check for, always check your connections. When you took everything apart, make sure they're not leaking well after that burner kicks on. And we still don't have anything. I had a couple drops here and there, but nothing substantial. Now this thing will kick off if it doesn't sense fire. Now, oh, there we go. Look at that, see it? And it stopped. Okay, what I'm gonna turn the power off for a second. I'm gonna close this back up, so we don't wanna let any air back in it. We're gonna give it a minute or so and let this thing, our little trip there, so I'm able to trip it. And we're gonna do it all over again. But you see we had solid fuel, so we were looking pretty good there. Stop. All right, second time now. All right, I think we can still got our solid stream of fuel, nice and clean. We're gonna close it up. And there we go. We hear our boiler running, make a nice fire. One thing we wanna do is get this oil out of the way. We're looking in here, make sure there's no leaks anywhere. Remember, we did take a lot of things apart. Our pump here, our bleeder is nice and tight. Our return line is tight, our feed line is tight, no leaks, no nothing. We can hear that flame going. So we should have heat here in 10 minutes or so. I've been cold all day. All right, stop. All right, well, we're back here in the office of the shop, and nice and toasty warm, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple. It cost me $11 to get all that stuff working. It took longer to show you guys than actually doing it. So watch the video once or twice, and remember, check those electrodes. On my website, on the right side, if you're there or not on YouTube, you'll see the whole article about how to install an adjusted electrode, because they're also very important. Anyway, I hope you're warm in a little while. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you're probably nice and cold like I was, but right now, nice and toasty warm. I'm Dominic from askmediy.com. Thanks for watching.